Hello, I'm Jen Gagney from Pixelscapes.com. I'm drawing and painting my way through the 5th edition monster manual, and my monster for you tonight is a Chimera. So here's my drawing video, which is of course sped up for your enjoyment. The dragon head is actually from my old Larry Elmore fan art that I did, and then all I had to do was draw my lion and my ram. Right, got the paws, a little bit of a, not that he's a symmetrical monster, but a symmetrical pose for you. Gotta have the tail curling out of there. Wings. Claws everywhere, and teeth. All right, so there we go. Now I have the painting video for you, which is also sped up, and I will talk about it as we go. So the first part I drew in Procreate using my iPad. For this section, I'm actually working in Photoshop, and I just lay in the colors. First, of course, the dragon area, and then I want to add a little bit of yellow shading so that he's not just red, red, red. Tail. Get these fins have a little variety to them. And then I like adding scales to dragons, even though it's a complete pain in the ass, but I feel like it's worth it. So first on the face, and then of course it wouldn't be on the fins or the horns, so then I erase some of that. Go. And I know they're too dark. I'll fix that later. And then this is just for the neck and the tail. So basically by selecting the different areas, I erase the parts I don't need. It looks like a mess, but it'll end up okay, I promise. But I can't just have scales there. I also need scales on the wing bones, since they are dragon wings. So I added the red as a baseline, move my lines down a shade so that we can actually see them, and then of course added my scales. And I wanted to make the sides a little different, so I didn't just do one and copy it over. He's symmetrical enough already. Two bones at once, which is very handy. Same thing on this side. And then again, I erase the overlap. Put those all together and then fade them significantly. There we go. But I don't want to leave those wings just red. I want to add a little highlighting to them. Then I ended up deciding to approach it a different way by selecting the area and then feathering my selection. And then I did a hue shift on it. How about this lion? I made his lines brown. See, the dragon is red with orange aspects. And then the lion, of course, will end up being kind of orange also. So my challenge is to make sure that they look sufficiently different. And I can do that a couple different ways, but I think I come back in and adjust it a few times later. I start with the base orange and then come back with some yellow, bright yellow. So is it just orange? Grabbing his mane. Fire that up. Definitely leaving that yellow on the edges, but orange around his face. All right. See, now my fur, my trusty bear fur. Bear's cheek. That from a public domain image. And then that's how I like making things look fuzzy. Touch it up because I'm picky. And then I'm gonna just use that as a hue shifter so it'll become a little more orange. And I faded it a little and then moved it back so he's mostly yellow with just like some red strands. And then I'll do the same thing on the mane, only more rougher grain. I know some lions have a darker mane, and I really thought about that, but I kind of like the gold because it makes it sort of pop more forward. And then that way I can add shadow behind him without it blending into his mane. That was my rationale. Plus, you know me, I like bright colors. These guys are realistically colored enough already. I don't want it to be brown. So. And now my sheep. Meh. I decided to use blue here, since that's more interesting than gray, essentially. Coloring outside the lines. This is very out of character for me, but it's the easiest way to get what I wanted. And then of course I erased it. Let's get these horns purpled up or blued up. And then it shows the little ridges all the way around. But I still wanted him to look, you know, woolly, furry. So I end up grabbing my trusty bear fur again. Oh, I didn't do that right now. I guess I do that later. At this point I realized I had forgotten the dragon's tongue and the inside of the mouth. So that's what I laid in. Okay. Let's see. Ah yes, eyes and teeth color. Which is mostly white. But there's a lot of teeth to select. And the nose. Oh, alright. Gotta fill it with white, not black, yes. It's a subtle distinction, I know, but I gotta figure that out someday. Because it's all one creature, I deliberately gave them all the same eye color. It's a three-headed creature as opposed to three creatures. Although I suppose if you think about a chimera, that's debatable. But still, I wanted them to have the same eye color. So now I'm going to put the wing panels in with the gradient because that's more fun. Gives a little more shading. Put some more yellow in. But I don't want it too yellow, so then I added some red, so it's like a shadow of the bones. And then I hated it, so then I changed it and did it a different way. I'm fussy. Oh, the black does not look good. I ended up using red. Much better. Okay. Now I need my fur. Furry sheep. There we go. That is too dark. So then I added a cyan, which was too intense. Then I changed that a little to a, well, that's too purple. It is way too purple. Okay, that's significantly faded and much more interesting than gray. So, with my monster completely colored, oh, not completely colored because I've got to get the claws in here. And not only making them white, but unlike teeth, I like to add a little bit of blood to claws. Just on principle. The blood of dead adventurers, no doubt. And now I can finally grab the ring areas for coloring. Green, I end up putting green here since nothing else it's touching is green. And the eyes are green. So the areas are separated. And as for the center background, I tried purple, but I ended up going more blue. I know that the horns on the ram are also blue, but because they don't touch, I think it's okay. And then I put line colors so that it's not just black on the ring. And then I started fussing over all my other line colors. So I put purple on the horns of the sheep, but then made part of that darker just so it's not completely purple. It gives the lines almost a little contour. And then brightened up the lion so he's got more gold. And at this point, I think I ended up putting, I put a shadow behind the lion. I figured he probably doesn't need it for the sheep, but I think it helps him pop away from the dragon a little and from his wings. And then, of course, I had to clean all that up. And the claws ended up getting gray, so I fixed that. Okay, let's see. Now I'm gonna give the dragon a shadow. Shadows for everyone. And that should help him stand out from his wing. Yup. And of course, I don't want it to show on the blue background, so I erased that. And it's ram time. The ram can have a shadow. I have to select through like 4 different areas because I've got to get the lines, I got to get the fur, I got to get all. There you go. And then clean that up too. And I didn't need as much shadow there because the horns are already dark. And I don't want it to look blurry, so I cleaned some of that. Okay. Let's see. What else does it need? Just a little bit of shading underneath the mane. And now I start to get into line colors. So the dragon lines are pretty dark, but I added red. Mostly on the interior. And then instead of leaving the token background plain, I added these sandy stripes. Desert. Pretty sure they're desert creatures. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a pretty pattern. Either way, there it is. My longest running campaign starts in a desert city. Well, near a desert city. Homebrew. But then it segued into the whole Tyranny of Dragons arc. It was a lot of fun. Really great role players. They never ran into a Chimera, whatever these guys are, except for a tile one. It was made out of tile, so it was two-dimensional, and it sort of ripped its way out of a mosaic. And when you fought it, it would turn the dodge and give you disadvantage. Evil. I totally approve. So, let's see. And then I brightened up the red lines on the wings. Fussed over the dragon some more. And then I clean out his nostrils because they shouldn't be red. Yeah. Okay. And I think it's finally done. Is it? Was it? Oh, no. No. Kept on fussing. I'm putting a little more blue around the ram's mouth. And around the edges. Yep. All right. I think now he's really done. So, here we go. Let me pause this. Okay, good. So thank you all for watching. Please do like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can see more of my monster art at pixelscapes.com. And last but not least, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters. Erica Regan, of course, is the founding member of my Conspiracy of Evil. Thank you so much, Erica, for your support. And thanks also to my other supporters. If you'd like to learn more about the rewards my Patreons get in exchange for their support, visit patreon.com/pixelscapes. They get sneak previews of art, they get digital wallpapers, they get color variants of different monsters, and they can get token packs of images you can use in Roll20. At the upper levels, you can like play a game with me. There's lots of options. So thank you again for coming by, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.